Valve's upcoming game Deadlock got some new developments since last I covered it. Recently, it had a gameplay video leak. And while barely 2 minutes long, it still teaches us a lot of things and confirms a lot of other suspicions we've had about the game. This leak happened because someone was playing the game over Discord and somebody recorded their screen. I'll go into more detail at the end of the video, but for now, just know this is definitely not Valve's doing. I've heard some theories that apparently Valve was doing this on purpose to drive up hype, which I don't buy for a second. But we were able to learn a lot of new things through this video leak. Being able to see more of the map and the art style, it allows us to hypothesize about the game mechanics, the playable characters, and most importantly, just how this game is gonna look, feel, and play. Of course, all of this is still subject to change, but I'm just working off what we got here. So first, let's cover the art style. Previous reports said that this game had a fantasy theme. And while that's broadly true, this game is closer to a pseudo mix of low sci-fi, retro future, and some sort of generic fantasy. The art style invokes things like The Rocketeer or BioShock Infinite. I've heard it described as fantasy noir or hard-boiled fairy core. I kinda like that. It has the early 1900s aesthetic mixed with various fantasy elements and genres. Definitely more unique than generic fantasy. At one point of the video, there's a billboard that says the New York Oracle. And honestly, old school New York describes the art style perfectly. It also confirms that there is indeed a zipline mechanic, allowing the player to quickly traverse various parts of the map. This leaked gameplay seems to be taken from the in-game tutorial, as at some point, the player opens the pause menu, and you can see the various options that the game is offering to train the player in. On the HUD itself, you can see the ammo near the crosshair. This game seems to use an infinite ammo mechanic. You also have the option to dash, and it seems to be tied to the 3 bars that surround the crosshair. From the other footage we've seen, it seems like every character has a 3-dash charge system. On the side, we see a few numbers. Not sure exactly what the second or third means, but the first one seems to be the character's move speed. So at least with this guy, his base movement speed seems to be 6.5 meters a second. It jumps to 15 meters per second while on the zipline. If we bring up the previous leaked screenshots, we'll see that this robot engineer and this other character that's called Infernus have the same movement speed of 6.5. Another character that I'll cover later, Yamato, seems to have a slightly slower speed at 5.6. Also on the bottom, there seems to be this soul counter. Not sure what that is. That could be the in-game currency. I assume this is what relates to the extraction mechanic. But again, too early to tell, as it doesn't move at any point in the footage. This robot engineer's health seems to be at 650. In the other screenshots, we also see that the Infernus character has 625, and that Yamato screenshot had 659. I'm assuming in the Yamato screenshot that they took some damage at the time of the screenshot being taken. My OCD refuses to believe that any game will allow their character health to be anything that isn't divisible by 5. You can also see some slots at the absolute bottom left. Probably for items or power-ups. Again, in the Yamato screenshot, you can see that there's something in there. All of this appears to be taken from the first segment of the character training section, as evidenced by the big text box on the upper right, telling the player about the basic movement options. This actually confirms that these characters will be called heroes, similar to Valve's other game Dota 2. On the pause screen, we also see what the logo for Deadlock is going to look like. Outside of the UI elements, we see in the game that the character ziplines into this arena. We see these glowing white gates that seem to be guarded by this statue thing that has a health bar on it. Your team has their white gate, the enemy team has theirs, which is guarded by the statue, which I assume is functionally the same as a tower in Dota and other MOBAs. Your team's statue is here, you can see the enemy statue is right over there for a split second in the footage. This is purely a theory about the map, but at least according to the footage, this area seems to only be accessible through your team's white gate or through the zip lines. Assuming that this area is one of the nodes on the map, which you can actually see at the very top of the screen. So my theory is, your team will fight in these arenas, and if you win and destroy the statue, you can move up, capturing more of the enemy territory. This is probably the MOBA map inspiration. I can see the strategy of having big team fights in one area, and while you sneak away and capture a nearby area. Now, onto the hero roster. So far, there's 19 playable heroes, ranging from robots, flying goblins, dapper pyromancers, ginger Captain Colds, a necromancer Cruella de Vil, a walking Tesla coil, ghost snipers, four-armed lady gangsters, Juggernaut from Dota 2, and the soldier from TF2, who really likes the thin blue line. Quite a diverse spread of characters we have here. The footage doesn't actually hover over every character in the roster, they just go over a few of them. But I kinda like the ones that we did see. Every time that the character hovers over them and shows a brief description of the character and what they can do, I don't know, I like it. The character that I've been calling Robot Engineer, we don't actually know the name of. I just call him that. Other things that we can tell is that Infernus appears to be a business owner. Earlier in the footage, we can see a billboard for their cigarettes. The other characters that we don't see on screen, we only have their thumbnails to go off of. Some of them look interesting, some of them, not so much. The game also highlights heroes that are beginner friendly, evidenced by the green thumbs up on half of the characters here. On the hero select screen, there's a tall character in the background. Kinda looks like a noir detective, or maybe even a police chief. Think Commissioner Gordon from Batman. There's also some ghost pigeons. That's cool, I guess. And now onto how this all happened. Like I said before, this was all recorded through Discord. The footage was taken by a certain popular TF2 YouTuber. I don't want to name who they are. I'm sure you can find out who they are by yourself. However, it must be stated that this YouTuber was not the one that leaked it. It was one of the people that they were sharing to on Discord who did. I strongly believe that it was not the YouTuber's intention to leak the game. Was it a foolish decision? I can't really say, but I don't think they did it. This actually further reinforces that there were no NDAs. Valve was truly just operating on don't be a dick policy. It's unfortunate that this YouTuber's reputation and relationship with Valve is probably over because of this. There's a subset of TF2 players who are against this new game because they think it will really kill TF2. And I can see their point. TF2 is in a rough state right now, with no updates and a bot crisis going on. But this new game is going to siphon players from all across the gaming community, not just TF2, diverting traffic from games like Overwatch, Valorant, Paladins, Tarkov, and even Valve's own games, which include their own crown jewels like Counter-Strike and Dota. I'm not excusing Valve's treatment of TF2, they definitely need to give that game more love, but this game, in my opinion, is not the fabled TF2 killer. I would like it to be the Overwatch killer though, not that they need help killing Overwatch. Blizzard's doing a fine job on their own.
Monsieur, does this mean Overwatch is back?
Nope.
Now, onto my dog shit opinions once again. So far, like I said, the art style is growing on me. I do enjoy some of the heroes we were able to see, particularly the one of Wraith. I really dig the fact that her hands are in her pocket and her jacket acts as extra arms. I don't know, it's simple, but it's really nice. A few months ago, we also saw that the voice actor for Sniper in TF2, Patrick Laurie, was in Valve's studio doing some voice work. We do know for a fact that Valve likes to use the same voice actors a lot, so I'm rather excited to see all these returning voice actors from Dota, Team Fortress, Half-Life, and maybe even Left 4 Dead. Honestly, I've said before that I don't like hero shooters, but who knows, maybe this one will be the first one to change my mind. I predict some sort of official trailer or announcement in the coming months, and we can only hope that this new game won't be another artifact. Thanks for watching.